profession.
Ah! You recognize the voice, bitch!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to...
I think I almost jumped into the screen this time.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, all right, we're just going to go.
Duh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 8 of Don't Shoot the Messenger. That's right. We've finally gotten off of Fortnite long enough to bring you episode number 8. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We're going to start with the trade that just rocked the sports world. The LA Clippers have traded Blake Griffin to the Detroit Pistons for essentially a bag of rocks and a couple draft picks.
What?
Yeah.
Tobias Harris?
Tobias, Avery Bradley, Boban Marjanovic, a first-round pick, and a second-round pick for Blake Griffin.
A first-round pick for the next 4 years.
Yikes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, pretty big trade here. And, you know, the Clippers are also trying to move DeAndre Jordan and Lou Williams.
Trying to move Lou?
Yep. So, guys, thoughts on this trade? JR, I'll start with you. What do you think about it? Oh, and by the way, folks, we're joined by my good friend JR Swish and my not so good friend Loso today.
I hate this guy too.
So
trades are weird. It's pretty boring. It don't make any sense, but
They're dumping salary.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, they're about to rebuild from the ground up.
You think Doc Rivers is going to be gone soon?
He needs to be. Most overrated coach I've ever seen.
You must have never heard of Riverwell Ron.
Is he? Do you think he's overrated? Because I just don't think he should be rated in general.
Nah, I don't think he's overrated. I don't think he's that good.
Are we talking about Ron or Doc?
Both.
Yeah, Doc really ain't that good.
He's kind of star-studded line for long.
yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't even know if it's I don't know. It's not. I guess it's the Clippers trying to not tank, but tank at the same time, but tank in like a more respectable way.
Right now, dude, you're full tank mode.
Not completely, because Avery Bradley and Tobias Harris aren't the worst, but they're not like all-stars. So
Yeah, but what's their contract like? It's not that big, right?
Avery Bradley is a free agent after this year, so he's only playing. He'll be there for a few months if he stays. And Tobias Harris ain't making that much.
And then some guy named Boban.
Damn it.
Boban Bogdanovic. I'm glad that him and Tobias are still together so we can see those dance lessons. That's Tobias.
Better respect
Boban.
that giant
I
ogre.
would have been sad if they were taken apart.
That
Because I
giant
love
ogre.
that.
That giant ogre.
So pretty big trade.
And a future first, which is I think protected, and a second.
Well, there's 3 first-round picks that are protected 1 through 4, which is 18, 19, 20, and then the 2021 first-round pick isn't protected.
But they gave up 4 picks?
Yeah, 4 first-round picks the next 4 years.
Are you kidding me?
And a second round pick.
In that trade?
Yes.
Yep.
They got a first-round pick for the next 4 years.
What the hell?
And the first 3 are all protected 1 through 4 picks.
What the Clippers got those?
Yeah, Clippers got those.
Yeah.
What the hell?
So we have the RG3 trade of the NBA, so it would seem.
Well, no, this seems like the what was it, KG or Ray Allen trade or Gerald Green trade? Not Gerald Green, Gerald Wallace. I'm sorry.
The Brooklyn Nets trade, yeah.
Yeah, all over again.
Yeah, pretty much. Terrible idea.
That many picks too, God, Jesus.
In a second pick.
For a semi-washed Blake Griffin. Nice.
So the Pistons pretty much can't draft for the next 7 years.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, but hey, guys, I mean, look at on the bright side for Blake Griffin. He went from a team that was probably going to get swept first round of the playoffs
The
to
team
a
that's
team
probably going to get
swept first round of the
Probably
playoffs.
weren't even going to make the playoffs, but yeah.
Who, the Pistons?
What an improvement, eh?
Terrible.
Clippers are like the 8th seed right now. The Pistons are the 8th seed, but the Clippers
At least
are
you getting swept in the East and not the West this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Going away from
Pick it all?
what?
You guys feel bad for Blake at all? Because, yeah, I mean, he comes off as a douchebag to me. I don't know if he is or not, but
I mean,
I don't think he's a douchebag. I think he's corny. He's just fucking soft. I don't know.
I don't really have a opinion either way about it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm sure he's pissed about it, but at the end of the day, I don't know. It's not like a big name, or I don't know. Obviously, he's a big name, but not the biggest name, I guess.
I don't know. Honestly, to me, he honestly seems to be a top 5 MVP candidate up to the moment he gets injured every single season.
Huh.
The numbers he puts up until his injuries are ridiculous every year.
Yeah, but he gets injured every year, so I mean...
Yeah, that's the problem. He gets injured every year.
Well,
I think he's a really dominant player, for real.
He can be. But, oh well.
Still do think he's sharp and soft, though. I agree with that.
All right, guys.
Never really been a Blake Griffin fan.
Moving away from the NBA, we're going to talk about something a little bit more serious, which isn't really our
Don't
forte.
move away from the NBA. Finish the NBA topics first.
All right.
Get away from the NBA.
Difficulties, folks.
Sticking with NBA for now, guys. Another big story out of the NBA. Boogie, Demarcus Cousins out for the year.
That sucks.
Absolutely. I mean, the dude was balling out. I mean, he was playing great. The Pelicans looked like they could sneak into the playoffs. I mean, obviously they were going to get swept first round, but you know what I mean. And now...
Go there, too.
And now... do what now?
Did Blake Griffin just go there, too, to get swept first round?
Anyway.
I hate you. I want the whole world to know that I hate you.
Anyway. But yeah, Boogie Cousins out for the year. And it sucks to see because, like I said, he was playing out of his mind. I mean, he had a 40-20-10 game right before.
He really puts up some stupid stats. Like, some of his nights, it's just, like, stupid. It's like 35 and 18. It's like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, I know, Loso, you talked about how Griffin puts up nice numbers and he can be dominant, but Boogie is, like, 10 times that. And it sucks to see him go out like that. You know what I mean? What's that? You still with us?
Yeah, I'm with you.
What do you think about it? You upset about it? You gonna cry?
No, not really. I mean, I'm not the biggest Boogie fan in the world. I think he's a good player. That's about it.
Yeah. Well.
Ridiculous numbers. The guy's a dickhead. I'm not to say that he deserves it, but...
Yeah, well, Paul George is replacing Boogie in the All-Star game. And speaking of the All-Star game in the NBA, guys, your biggest All-Star snub this year?
Who else? Who else could it be?
What do you mean?
I mean, Kyle Lowry made the All-Star game. All right.
I'm saying snub.
Yes, I know. I'm saying Kyle Lowry made an All-Star game. Nobody wants to see Kyle Lowry in an All-Star game.
Yeah, nobody's going to watch the All-Star game.
What?
I mean, I'm going to watch Team LeBron. Watch that ass.
We're going to watch. People always watch.
Team LeBron looks like...
monster.
That's another thing we forgot, Glenn. Team LeBron versus Team Curry.
Oh, God. Yeah, for sure. I think we're all taking Team LeBron, though. I mean...
I got Team Curry in 6.
Goodbye.
Team Curry got all the shooters. Team LeBron got all the athletes. I don't know what's going to happen here.
They said Team... What did they say? Team... I don't fucking know. Team LeBron is eye test, while Team Curry is...
Fundamental.
Nah, like advanced stats Twitter.
Wait, Team Curry would be advanced stats?
Yeah.
The guys who dive way too deep in the analytics.
Rating, true shooting ratings. And then Team LeBron's eye test Twitter.
I'll take Team LeBron.
Well, I wonder how their lineup's going to be affected. Their starting lineup now. So is George getting the automatic start, though, or do they change the starters?
I mean, they'll have to change. But I mean,
I don't know.
Before they had point guard in their starting lineup, and then they had Kevin Durant at shooting guard.
Yeah, so they may put Paul George or bring somebody off the bench there. Who knows?
and how about
move AD to the 5, I guess.
How about having Braun and Kyrie on the same team and KD and Russ on the same team?
Yeah, that's just LeBron being a petty whore and does what he does.
Yeah, LeBron's annoying. You just couldn't let KD go to the rest of the Warriors team, right?
Right.
But Loso, what do you think? Who's your biggest All-Star snub this year?
Lou Will.
I'm right with you. Lou Williams.
He's been playing out of his mind. The problem is he's been a bench
the guy who's snubbed every year for All-Star, J.R. Smith.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, how could we forget J.R. Swish, the legend?
Who else?
Yeah, who else?
Nobody wants to see Kyle Lowry's fat ass jump up, running up down the court so fast in an All-Star game.
I'd rather watch JR take shots at Henny and then run out there and just
shoot up 25 threes and dunk on people.
Exactly. So
we want to see a glorified Raymond Felton and Kyle Lowry out there dribbling basketball during All-Star.
Pretty much. So yeah,
250 pounds.
250-pound point guard, yeah. Kyle Lowry.
Disgusting.
Yeah, disgusting.
So, all right, guys. Last NBA topic for today. This rookie class, looking at it for the NBA, has been absolutely insane. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum.
That's me. I was thinking of his name the whole fucking pre-show, and nobody wanted to say anything. The first case, fucking Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell.
I was literally trying to figure out his name for 30 minutes.
But yeah, Donovan Mitchell, Ben Simmons, Jason Tatum, DSJ, Lonzo, Kyle Kuzma, Fox. I mean, this rookie class is insane.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well.
Who do you guys think wins Rookie of the Year this year?
Simmons.
Yeah, they'll probably give it to Ben Simmons for sure. He's giving you like 17, 7, and 7 a night. I think Donovan Mitchell should win it, but they'll probably give it to Ben Simmons.
I think Donovan Mitchell's an amazing player. And if Ben Simmons didn't get injured that last year, he would win it. But Ben Simmons should win it this year.
Ben Simmons isn't even a real rookie, but he didn't play last year, so he is.
It was the same thing with Joel Embiid. You know, he wasn't a real rookie, but he was in the running for it. So
Embiid only played 30 games last year, and he still won it, or some weird cheese like that.
But don't sleep on Kyle Kuzma. I mean, he's been playing out of his mind.
Kuzma.
Yeah.
Kuzma.
What did I say?
I don't know. You're from the South. I'm not happy.
Kyle Love, that guy. Anyway. But I think we're on agreement. Ben Simmons is probably going to win Rookie of the Year. But Donovan Mitchell has been playing out of his mind. I think when it's all said and done, Donovan Mitchell is going to be the best player out of this rookie class.
I don't know about that.
Who do you think is going to be better?
I think he's going to be the best value for his pick. When was he taken? When was Donovan Mitchell taken?
I couldn't tell you.
I feel like what he's doing is he's being the best value for his pick. But I don't think he's a more talented player than Ben Simmons.
No, he's not. He's better. He's a better player, right? Well, not better. I can't say he's a better offensive player right now. Obviously, better scorer and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean he's in terms of scoring, he's more of a highlight reel to watch. But I don't think he's a better player.
Yeah, he was the 13th pick.
13th pick
by the Nuggets, and then got traded to the Jazz. Yeah.
So I
think he's a better value for his pick. He's a 13th pick that plays like a number 1 overall player.
Like he's a top 5 player. He's a top 5, top 2 rookie right now for sure.
Yeah. Well, the same thing with Kyle Kuzma. That guy's playing like he's a top 5 player in the NBA.
Kuzma too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Kuzma is playing out of his mind, so don't sleep on him. I mean, he might wind up, winning Rookie of the Year out of nowhere.
Do you think shit like that is what influences the Clippers to trade away Blake Griffin for somebody instead of?
And the pieces they get back for, I mean, if they got 4 future first round picks, then you only got to hit on like 1 or 2 of those guys. You're not going to hit on all 4. I mean,
Yeah, like if I
back in the NFL right now.
Because it's not like the Pistons. Those Pistons are going to be like insanely good anyway with Blake Griffin, regardless. So you're still going to get like a top 20 pick more than likely.
Not to mention your pick. So you've got 2 top 20 picks for the next 4 years. I mean,
yeah.
Or it's not a 1 through 4 pick for the Pistons.
Yeah.
Which I doubt it will be.
Yeah. The Clippers would be probably a little higher now. Their pick, I should say, yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably get a top 5 pick from themselves.
Top 10, yeah, exactly. Somewhere in
that
that
top 10 range. 15 pick from the Pistons, honestly.
Yeah, and then a top 20 pick Pistons for the next 3 seed. That'd be, I mean, hey. That's not bad. And then you get a Tobias Harris and a Bradley. You already have a Patrick Beverly. You're still trying to move DeAndre Jordan and Lou Williams and them, though, so they'll probably move them in the next few weeks or so.
Yep. So, but that does it for NBA topics, guys. And we're going to move over to something
much more serious, guys.
Yeah, something a little bit more serious. Which, as I was saying earlier, it's not really much of our forte here on Don't Shoot the Messenger. We're a lot more comedic, I guess. But I think this is something we probably need to talk about. Obviously, you know, we all know what happened with Larry Nassar. Doesn't really matter how you pronounce that scumbag's name. Former USA gymnastics doctor and Michigan State doctor sentenced to up to 175 years in prison for decades of sexual abuse against over 150 young women and girls. I mean, what a piece of shit. And, you know, I don't think this guy's going to last too long in prison. He'll either wind up getting killed or killing himself, one or the other. But I say good riddance because we need less shit like that in today's world. But, I mean, this is pretty bad because it's led to more things, guys. I mean, now we're learning that Michigan State has had sexual abuse allegations all across campus from the football team. It's been going on for years, kind of similar to what we heard about Baylor. And now, after all this has come out, Mark Emmert, who is the NCAA president, apparently he has known about these allegations since 2010. So I feel like this whole Larry Nassar thing is a step towards something that could be a whole lot bigger in the world of college sports and NCAA. I mean, what do you guys think? Les, I'll start with you because I feel like, I don't know. I'm just going to let you start because why the fuck not? I don't know. I feel like...
Honestly, I'd rather not even speak on this fucking topic.
Because if I'm going to let Jared speak on it first, he's just going to be like, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like, I just think fucking all this shit is corrupt, man. NCAA is corrupt. All these universities are corrupt. They don't give a shit about anything but making money, man.
It's because I'm thinking what I'm going to say before I say it, obviously.
Oh, you're thinking when you're saying it, not before you say it.
No, I'm thinking before I say it, yeah.
It's a good habit to have.
That's really it, man. All these things are just corrupt. They care more about money than the well-being of anybody.
Yeah, and I think it's finally just being brought to light more than anything.
I feel like it's always being brought to light. I feel like people actually care now.
Yeah, I mean...
even back when fucking the Boz was playing football, he was trying to talk about this shit. I'm going to pay attention to him.
Who's that?
The Boz? Brian Bosworth?
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I think that while we kind of live in a world where a lot of people overreact and stuff like that, in this situation, I think it's a good thing we have that kind of world now because, you know, scumbags like this, and I think that kind of corruption it's going to be a lot easier to snuff out. You know what I mean? Like, these guys aren't going to be able to hide anymore. We're going to find out what's going on, and we're going to get it taken care of, obviously, if we have more judges like that sentence Nassar. I don't really care how you pronounce that asshole's name. But hey, I mean, if we continue to get more judges like that to throw the book at these kinds of guys, I mean, maybe we'll finally start to see a change of culture among college campuses across the U.S. Because this is
too.
What's that?
See culture too.
All right, you're getting muted for that. Where's my mute button at?
Oh man.
Anyway, JR, what do you think about all this?
Not the first. Not the first. What, Loso?
No, I'm listening.
He was waiting for you to go, yeah,
I always do that just before I think before what I'm going to say. But not the first campus to get caught, and probably won't be the last one. That's for sure. I've seen it with Baylor just like last year, 2016. You've seen it, well, Sandusky and Penn State was a little different. There was obviously a ex-coach with children, obviously, but it's still the same ballpark. Sexual abuse. Yeah, then apparently it's reports that Tom Izzo and Mike D'Antoni, the football coach, how they did or didn't know about it. Same way Joe Paterno, Penn State's old head coach, apparently didn't know, or he did know, but he didn't tell the authorities, or he only told his higher up people instead of telling the actual police stuff like that. It's just, I don't know, it's a weird way to cover things up, man. These schools out here making that much money, they just overlook it or turn the other way.
And what needs to happen now, I think, is the NCAA should be done for. I mean, I've hated the NCAA for a long time. We all knew how corrupt they were, but I think now, the government itself needs to step in and say, all right, we're going to start investigating this and figure out exactly what's going on. Because, like I said, apparently Mark Emmert, who is the president of the NCAA, has known about this for 8 years and didn't say a word, didn't do anything. And it all comes back to money,
Why are Wall Street so corrupt?
All them billion-dollar industries, hell yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I just want, these guys at the top to get what they deserve and have this whole culture change. Because, I mean, we sit here and talk about these things.
They don't care whose lives are ruined. As long as they're making their million, they don't care whose lives are ruined.
I know, and I know we sit here and talk about it. I don't want to say nonchalantly because that's not really the case, but I don't think people actually realize the depth that these things happen and how many human lives are being essentially ruined and destroyed to the point where your life is never going to be the same. I mean, these are people's daughters, people's sons. I mean, if I had a child and I found out that something like that was going on,
I'd probably be going on a murdering spree.
Yeah, me too. Exactly. It's disgusting to see, and I just want these assholes to have to pay for it,
Yeah. Talking about literally, or?
No, not just him, but all of them, yeah. All of them.
I'm talking about everybody at the top who's known it, because there's no way that if the president of the NCAA knew, there's no way that all these other top guys didn't know about this stuff going on.
Yeah, there's no way your coaches don't know about it.
Exactly. There's no way. Joe P.A. obviously knew. Tom Izzo knew. Mike D'Antoni knew. Plead ignorance and, I didn't know this was going on. Yes, you did. You chose to ignore it. And it creates this kind of thing where this is why victims of sexual abuse a lot of times are afraid to come forward, because the ones who do come forward and say something are silenced, or they're heard and completely ignored. And it's no wonder why people wait years and years to finally have the courage to step forward and reveal what people did to them. I'm all, I know that we joke about feminists and stuff like that, but there are times like this where you kind of step back and think, okay, well, I mean...
God, Bo Jackson.
What?
Sorry, I just broke your heart.
Step back and think, oh God, Bo Jackson. But it makes you step back and think like, okay, well, this is really what these people are protesting for and fighting for. And, you know, maybe their method isn't a way that you might agree with, but at the end of the day, they want the same thing you want. They want justice for these victims. So, long story short, please, for the love of God, have these terrible human beings pay for what they've done.
Yeah.
So,
even though they're not going to make all of them pay, they'll make some of them, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there are obviously other people that knew about Larry Nassar, but we don't see them getting in trouble, I guess. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For being an accomplice or accessory, whatever you want to call it. But those people should suffer just as much because you knew about it and you chose not to do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, all right. So we're gonna move on from that. I mean, I just felt like that was something we probably needed to talk about, guys, because whether or not a lot of people listen to us, which right now I know they don't, but for the ones that do, I mean, it's important for us to have conversations about this kind of stuff, you know? All right, good talk. All right, so we're going to go back to what we do. We're going to talk about the XFL coming back, guys. Vince McMahon has announced that the XFL is coming back in 2020.
I could really give two shits.
I highly doubt that thing is going to last more than 2 years, if it does, in fact, come back.
Who knows? It's all he say, she say right now. Well, he said he's bringing it back, but you could change that 2 years from now. I'm like, oh, fuck it.
It's coming back, boys. It's coming back and better than ever.
Yeah. Do you, I'll start with you, Loso. Do you think that the XFL can survive and compete with the NFL in terms of drawing an audience towards a different kind of professional football league, or do you think it's going to fail again?
I don't think it's going to reach the level of the NFL, but I think it'll be popular enough to maintain. It's not going to replace the NFL, but I think it's going to be big enough to where it won't shut down the way it did its first attempt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Honestly, watching the interview, though, it made Vince McMahon seem like so much more of a bigger douchebag than I thought he was. No, I really did. The guy seemed like a complete asshole.
He did. He definitely did.
His character on TV.
JR, what do you think? Do you think it'll be able to survive like Loso said, or do you think it's gonna fall flat on its face?
When did it first come out? When did it first come out?
I don't know.
What, 90s or like early 2000s? When was his first?
Late 90s, I believe.
2001.
That was when he first attempted it. So, well, maybe it'll survive or last for a few years in this era, because it's more like, I mean, you have like, obviously if social media, it can drive anything. Get social media behind anything and just blow up instantly, regardless what it is. So I mean, that alone could help, but I mean, it could be like a D League for the NFL, or it's like the CFL basically. Like, all right, it's there, but nobody's really watching, or like, no disrespect, the WNBA. It could be like the WNBA as well.
Yeah, it's there, but people don't really, you know.
Nobody's really paying attention to it.
I don't know, guys. I'm kind of back and forth on whether or not this will survive, because I think that if you make arguments for it and how it can prosper in today's day, you know, they know what audience they're pandering to. It's these people who are supposedly protesting the NFL because of the whole thing with the anthem and all that mess. It's pandering to these people that think the NFL's gone too soft. They want that hard-hitting football back, and you know what fan base you're pandering to, what kind of demographic you want, and that might be a lot bigger than I think initially.
50-year-old Republican white men.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, exactly.
Isn't that the market that everybody goes after?
In a way, yeah.
Not so. I wouldn't say as much anymore nowadays. I think that's changed, but I think that that's pretty much the demographic that the XFL is going to be going for. And I think the other thing is this: it's going to give college athletes or high school athletes, a different route, maybe a different opportunity if they can't make it in the NFL, or if they just want to try out the XFL instead. They're talking about putting teams in cities that don't have football teams, and I think that's if you're going to make this work, that's a brilliant idea. 8 cities I think was the initial plan. I know Toronto was one of them.
Is it going to be domed?
Probably.
I think they should be. I think they should be domes.
Me too.
But and I think that I think they have a lot of potentially good things going for them where it could work.
Are they going to rent out like regular arenas? They're not going to build a bunch of arenas, obviously.
They can't. They can't yet. But I mean,
well, yeah, obviously
they'll have to rent out arenas for now. So
that would take years in itself.
Right. Exactly. So those are the reasons why I think it can, like the pros, I guess. But I don't personally think it's going to wind up working for, like I said, more than like 2 years maybe. Because the NFL is just way too huge of, I guess you could say, a monopoly on professional football. Even people who say, I'm protesting it. Everybody knows what the NFL is. Everybody knows all these teams. I mean, it's the most talked about thing. It's the most popular sport in the U.S. And the NFL's trying to get more of a global look. They play games in China and Mexico, all these different places.
Fucking around.
So I think the NFL just has too much going for it, essentially, to where the XFL is not going to be able to compete. It's like.
It's not even trying to compete, I don't think. It already knows it can't compete.
It wants to be its own thing, but you can't not be a professional football league and not compete with the NFL.
It's no competition.
Whether or not you say you're going to or say you don't want to, you have to. It's the equivalent of me saying I'm going to create my own sort of company where I sell smartphones and tablets and computers. And it's going to be completely different from Apple. That's not going to work. I can't compete with a giant like that. And I just don't think the XFL will survive just because the NFL is just too powerful. It's just too much. Like I said, I think they have a lot of potentially good things that could go for them, but I don't think it's going to work out. So that's just my 2 cents on it. What do you guys think? Do you agree, disagree? What do you think?
No, I agree. It's not going to last that long. But it could last longer than what it lasted before. It's literally wasn't that long.
Interesting things though, like the whole 52-week pay for the players. I think that's a really interesting way of going about it, paying them an annual contract to keep them doing things for the league, even throughout the off season, preseason, all times of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the other questions I have for it is, we talk all the time about how the NFL. People call the NFL soft, whatever. You know, brain health essentially has become such a huge topic over the past few years in regards to playing football. So many people don't want their kids playing football because of all the studies of concussions linked to CTE, and it can take your life early. So people are scared of playing football essentially. And the XFL is basic, or one of the bases that they want essentially is to not be soft like the NFL, but I don't think that you can have that kind of league in today's world where people are more concerned, and rightly so, about long-term health than they are about getting a first down and taking a shot to the head. You know what I mean?
I feel like the target audience of the XFL isn't really that concerned with mental health.
But I'm saying that the guys who are actually going to be playing the game in the XFL, I just don't think they're going to go for that because
they wouldn't sign up for it.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to have anybody who wants to actually go play those games. You're not going to offer me, and I'm not saying me personally, I'm just saying, like, you're not going to offer a Joe Schmuck who played football in high school or whatever, and he wants to play in college and he wants to play pro, but he can't make it in the NFL. You're not going to offer him a couple $100,000 to go knock his brain around when it's clear as day that the NFL already doesn't do enough to protect their players. So what makes them think the XFL can do that? You know what I mean?
Oh, Vince McMahon makes them think that.
Well, Vince McMahon's a douche, like you said. So, I mean...
He's a douche. Holy shit.
But, I don't know. I just don't think the XFL is going to survive.
Yeah. Probably.
So, if
I think it's longer than you guys are giving it.
Do what?
A few seasons, maybe.
I give it 2 seasons at most. At most.
I'd say less than 5, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to stay on the topic of football, and this is going to be our last topic for this episode. Super Bowl is coming up, gentlemen. Only a couple days away now. Philadelphia Eagles, New England Patriots. 2 completely different teams. We got the Eagles, who...
A good team and a bad team.
I mean, the Eagles have had this dominant defense all season long. Carson Wentz looked like an MVP candidate. Obviously, we know what happened to Carson Wentz. Nick Foles has stepped in, and he looks like Nick Foles that threw 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions years ago. And then, obviously, we have the dynasty, Tom Brady and the Patriots. I'll just ask you guys straight up, who wins the Super Bowl? What's your final score? Loso, what do you think?
Patriots over the Eagles by a score of 31-17.
Okay.
MVP.
Oh, sorry, Joe.
MVP, Deion Lewis.
Huh.
220 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns.
Interesting. Okay. JR?
Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl. By how much? I think they're favored by what? 5? 5.5?
I think so.
Patriots. What could a score? What could the score be? 28-20. Wait, 28-21 or 31-24. 28-21. I'd say, yeah, Patriots.
Well, fellas.
By a touchdown. MVP. Yeah, I don't know who the hell is gonna be MVP. I mean, you know what? I think I'm going to give MVP to Gronk, because I don't know who in the Eagles secondary can cover Gronk. I mean, Malcolm Jenkins is cool. Arnie McLeod is tiny. They don't really have any corner that's going to get physical with Gronk, really. I mean,
yeah, not like the Jaguars had with those linebackers and Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah. Eagles are more physical, not speed.
Yeah. So, all right, what's your stat line for Gronk in that case?
Nothing crazy, but like 6 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown or so. Maybe
MVP with that?
If he scores 2 touchdowns when 7, 8 catches, yeah.
I thought you said 1 touchdown.
I heard 7 catches, a touchdown, and 60-something yards.
What?
Yeah, no.
No, I said 7 or for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I'm surprised neither of you guys said Brady for MVP. I mean, last year, who was it? James White?
He doesn't play that well in the Super Bowls. He just hasn't historically.
Well, listen, he won it last year, and last year it should have gone to James White, honestly.
I don't know. The performance that Tom Brady had in the fourth quarter was epic.
Yeah, fourth quarter, but in his history in Super Bowls isn't that great, obviously.
Well, guys, my head,
terrible, but.
in my head, I want to just say New England and be done with it, but unfortunately, we can't have a show where we all pick the same team.
Sure we can.
So,
we can.
No, we can't. So you know what, guys? Fly, Eagles, fly. As
I would like to say fly, Eagles, fly, but I have zero faith in that happening.
And as Shannon Sharp said weeks ago, fly, Eagles, fly! Fly, Eagles, fly!
As Shannon Sharp said weeks ago, you seem to be off the miles in that hen dog, bro.
Yeah, facts.
I'm going to say Eagles.
Either way, just look at it this way.
Win there.
Either way, by the end of the night, Sunday, Philly will no longer be a city because it will be burned to the ground, win or lose.
Amen. Amen, sister.
That's
hey, bro. I'm not complaining.
I'm not either.
Philly is going to be ashes. Guys, I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles in an upset over the New England Patriots to win their first Super Bowl ever.
And there's reports.
Hold on, Glenn.
Wait. There's
Did
reports.
You hear what you said?
What?
Super Bowl ever.
What you just said?
First Super Bowl ever.
Yourself?
What?
Doesn't it sound insanely fucking stupid coming out of your mouth?
First Super Bowl ever.
We have to have somebody on this show that says stupid things, and I'm more than willing to be that guy.
Oh my goodness!
That's usually my role.
There's reports of an asteroid hitting Earth on Sunday.
Yeah, well, if
remember when the world was supposed to end in June,
hopefully
3 years ago?
Hits Minnesota.
Hopefully it's Philadelphia, even if the team isn't there.
Nah, just hit Minnesota.
See, it's not even the Eagles I hate; it's their people.
Yeah, but we talk about Eagles fans and talk about how bad Vikings fans have been ever since that huge L that they took. I mean, my God, I ain't seen a more whiny fan base in my life.
Has it been bad?
They've been horrible. So, all right, but
signing up to be Uber drivers for the Super Bowl to take all the Philly fans to the wrong place.
Listen, if you're stupid enough to know that not know that you're heading away from the stadium, you deserve whatever's coming to you. All right.
You know they're coming to Philly.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So my prediction: Eagles win in an upset, 24-21. Nick Foles gets them down the field at the end of the game, and they kick a game winner as time expires. I'm going to say Super Bowl MVP. I'm not going to give it to Foles. I'm going to give it...
That tarnished the whole award.
I'm going to give it to Fletcher Cox.
Fleshwood Cock.
I'm going to get... Yikes.
Dead ass face, yo.
I'm going to say Fletcher Cox gets 8 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, and a touchdown.
Jesus Lord.
Listen, we have to have bold predictions, hot takes, and I'm going to be the guy.
Well, I thought mine was pretty hot.
So, listen, I also chose the Titans to upset the Chiefs, and we see what happened there. So,
yeah, it was a waste of time.
Just saying that I've picked correctly in every single playoff game so far this year, guys.
No way.
Just saying, yes, I have. I picked in wild card. I picked the Saints. I picked the Falcons. No, I didn't. I picked the Rams. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind.
Fucking
I take
troll.
that back. Anyway, yeah, Eagles. One of the Super Bowl guys. Fly, Eagles, fly. So, there you
Cry,
have it.
Eagles cry is what it's going to be.
Yeah, well, all right. What's one hot take you guys have for the Super Bowl? JR, your hot take.
A hot take for the Super Bowl? What do you mean a hot
A
take?
hot take. Something. Some sort of bold prediction. Come on, man. Something weird's going to happen. What is it?
I don't know fucking hot take for the Super Bowl. What is this shit?
All right, fine. Loso, a hot take for the Super Bowl.
Hot take?
There's gonna be a Santa Claus in Eagles year.
No,
Watch.
it's not a hot take. It's a bunch of fucking weirdos and underdog and dog masks.
Gosh, bro, there's gonna be a Santa Claus in the Eagles year. He's at least gonna be an Eagles green Santa Claus
It's a bunch of
uniform.
grown ass men wearing dog costumes walking around. It's not a hot take. That's just
You're gonna bury that shit.
fucking stupid. We're underdogs, dude. You're
Be
13.
an end to that rivalry. Be an end to that rivalry between the Eagles and Santa Claus. That's my bold prediction.
I don't think you guys understand the definition of hot take, bold prediction.
No, I don't have one.
Really bold. You want a football bold prediction?
Fine, I'll make a bold prediction for you, JR. I don't know. I already made a bold prediction.
Forced fumble and interception.
You already said. You already gave your hot take with Fletcher Cox's madness stat line.
No. Malcolm. What did I just say? Malcolm Jenkins, forced fumble, and an interception.
I like it.
And 2 Eagles will be ejected.
Ooh. Which 2 Eagles, though?
Doesn't matter.
Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox. No. But, okay, guys. So that is pretty much it.
Hold on. I think I have a hot take. Isn't Malcolm Mitchell back for the Patriots?
Yeah.
Is he back for the Super Bowl?
Yes.
I can't tell. I think he is.
Yes! The answer is yes. He said yes 7 times.
Oh, okay, then yeah, I'm gonna predict he catches a touchdown.
That's not a hot take.
No, that's a prediction. That was my prediction.
Not really bold, but all right.
Oh, before
He's
we
been hurt
leave,
all year. He hasn't even played. He was on IR for pretty sure most of the season.
before we leave, I have one
Tom
question.
Brady, chances are you're going to catch a touchdown eventually.
Before we leave, I have one question for our viewers. What are you doing on May 5th?
What?
What are you doing on May 5th?
No idea.
We're ending the episode. All right.
No, what are you doing on May 5th? Because I'm going to be watching Gennady Golovkin go against Canelo Alvarez for the 2nd time.
Yeah, I'm not really worried.
That's part 2.
Yeah.
I didn't know where you were going with that, Loso. I was very concerned.
Well, I know Triple G deserved to have the win the first time. And it'll be a much more deciding win this time.
All right, guys.
Boxer in the world.
All right. That is the end of episode number 8 of Don't Shoot the Messenger. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to us ramble on and on. We appreciate you tuning in. For all our friends here, all our producers, our directors, this is Glenn Lewis.
JR, when you say all that.
Do what?
You should mean JR when you say all of that.
Yeah. For JR, Loso, JR, and JR. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
We out.